Hello, Janice. I see you come in there at the end. So good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Going right into the weekend. I don't know where you're living. We have people tuning in all over the country and world on the Coach's Corner. But let me tell you, fall is in the air. How many of you are feeling the fall in the air? Now, if you're down in Orlando, maybe not, but most places are feeling a little bit different of the air quality. So happy Wednesday to you. I hope you guys are having a great week. And we have tons of new people on this call. And so I always say this, and Lance McAllister, you know, I was actually kidding. I had no clue it was 1 year to the day. So I apologize. You stay upright on that bike. We started this Coach's Corner during COVID when everybody got sent home. And we were like, this will be something cool we'll do for like a couple of weeks. Every day, Monday through Friday, we have done it for years now. We'll be saying this 10 years down the road. Years, ever since 2020. And what a blessing it's been. And so we pick a word and we just expand on it, and it lasts 10, 15 minutes. Okay. No more. We always cut off before 9:50 or right at 9:15. And then if you're a part of our company, we jump right over to the IPA Zoom at 9:15. So our word for today is available. And I'm going to be really quick because I took up time. The definition of available. Are you available right now? You know, I always say on these Coach's Corner, I look at a word, but I really open myself up and analyze myself when I look at a word. And I go available. What does that mean? Able to be used or obtained. Free to do something. And I come across this quote says, if you are available, if you are capable, but not available, nature will raise a person with lesser ability to replace you soon. Please understand what I just said. If you are capable, but not available, nature will raise a person with lesser talent to replace you. Happens all the time. And I had to remind myself of that. You know, when I was a head football coach, I reminded myself, I'm like, am I available? Am I available to my players? Am I there? Am I working? Do they know I'm the hardest working person in the organization? You know, and I think about it as years just went on, and I learned that from my mentor. But as years just went on, I now I'm in network marketing. It's my profession. And I go, am I available? Am I available? And there's so many days that I go to bed at night and I go, man, I could have been more available. I could have given more of myself. Because I really do believe that we can miss out on opportunities by telling ourselves we don't have time to be available. I hear it every day. I don't have time. I'm raising kids. I've got a job. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I'm like, we all have the same amount of 24 hours in a day. We all have kids. We're all busy. We all got life. But there's people that make themselves available for the opportunity. And I challenge each of us to find ways to make ourselves available, because if we don't, there will be somebody with less skill than you or me that'll come in and they'll take the opportunity and run with it because they made themselves available. And that could be our health, that could be our finances, that could be our profession. And understand this, not everybody on the Coach's Corner is in our business. They're not in our profession. We all have different professions all across the world that tune into the Coach's Corner. But I'll tell you this, how do you keep yourself available for opportunities? Be observant, number one. Your mind's like a parachute. It only works when it's open. Be observant. Take it in. Be willing to accept the opportunity. Educate yourself. Number two, we've got to constantly educate ourselves. Like, if you're in the profession of network marketing and you don't have a book about network marketing, what are you doing? Like if you hadn't read Beach Money, if you hadn't read The Richest Man of Babylon, if you're working on your finances and you want to become wealthy, if you haven't read any Robert Kiyosaki books, like how can we educate ourselves if we're not putting into our mind the things that will expand and grow us? We got to, number 3, experience life. I believe to make ourselves available, we got to travel. We got to be present. We got to live life to the fullest, right? And that sometimes is my downfall. I'll work, and forget that I better be living too while I'm working, right? I better be jumping off the cliff if I want to, and parasailing. I better be going snorkeling when I have an opportunity to go to the ocean. I mean, live life to the fullest. Number 4, consider different perspectives. If I'm always surrounded with people that think like me, are we all needed? We all think the same. So people having different perspectives that's in my circle is so huge. Now, Andrea has different perspectives to me. We like different food. We like all that. I get agitated with her because she don't agree with me. But I actually really appreciate the different perspective. Okay. It comes across kind of rough at times. So number 5, network. Your net worth is equivalent to your network. And that I got to make myself available to expand my network. And then number 6 is take risk. Like, take risk. Be smart, but take some risk when you can. And then last, become an expert to be available. Like, so many people right now, I'm like, in our profession, I'm like, get the Zoom. Learn how to do a Zoom. Learn how to do a presentation so that you're not waiting on anybody. Want to be a millionaire? Got to go do the presentation. Got to learn how to do it. Got to become an expert on it, right? And I challenge everybody to do that in our profession. But guys, make yourself available in areas that you want to grow in life. So Andrea, I'll turn it to you.
Well, great lesson there, Coach. Thank you for that. And we do disagree all the time. And that is what makes it such a dynamic partnership. So I went in a completely different direction with available. So I'm going to talk a little bit about being emotionally available. And the quote that kind of launched me in that direction was, if someone isn't available during your most crucial time, then their presence any other time is useless. And I think about, you guys know like what my world is. I think about my kids, right? And do you remember when your kids, if you've got kids when they were little and all they would talk about was like Lego blocks or Minecraft or like these things that, well, as a mom, as a human, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. I'm like, oh, that's a great building there, pal. It's gorgeous. But you know what? I had to make myself available because I always kept thinking in the back of my mind, if I was available then in those small moments, in the bigger moments, they would come to me. And I'm praying still that works out well because they're still young. They're only 17 and 14. And I still need to be there for all of those moments. And thankfully, we haven't had too many big ones, but hopefully they know that mom will always be available the best that I can. But, sometimes it's hard to be emotionally available for other people. Sometimes we just don't have it in us. So what I looked into is how can we improve our emotional availability? How can we be there for other people, even when life sometimes is really hard on us and we're busy and we have all this other stuff? So I'm going to say the first thing is we have to take time for ourselves. We can't expect ourselves to be emotionally available for others if we're not emotionally available for ourselves. We need to know our emotions and own our emotions in order to be able to share them with the people around us. Next, we have to recognize our emotional threshold. So before we offload our emotional struggles to each other, we need to check our capacity levels. We need to have boundaries around where we're at, because sometimes we can get around people. We've talked about them, right? Those emotional or those energy vampires that can come to us and they can bombard us with things and we might not have the capacity to accept it at that moment. So we need to be able to protect those boundaries so we know where we're at. Next, we have to talk about emotions. One easy way to be more emotionally available is talking about emotions. And we have to realize that there's a bunch of them. I don't know if you guys, but I grew up with the big three. That's all I knew. Like, I'm happy, I'm sad, or I'm mad. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. But there are a variety of other emotions out there. We can be frustrated. We can be, nervous. We can be, I don't know, I've still got to do some homework, but there are lots of other emotions out there. So we have to try to find words for them and be able to express them with others in order to be more emotionally available. Next, we have to dare to trust. When we open ourselves up to and trust another person, we're making ourselves more emotionally available. And that's not necessarily a strength of mine, but man, doesn't it feel good when you find a person that we can be ourselves with, what we can trust. I think about Beth Johnson. She is an authentic, open, beautiful soul, and she trusts people with her emotions. And it's so powerful. It creates such a strong connection, and it's important in our life. So good work, Beth. Keep it up. Don't let any principals tell you different. So love that. And then lastly, we need to embrace our vulnerability. Sometimes in this world, we are conditioned to hide our weaknesses, right? Like, I'm a superhero. I can handle everything, right? We can handle it all. We can do it all. We can be it all. And we showcase our strengths. But this leads to this incomplete picture, and it holds all the people in our life really at a distance. So if we want to bring them in and we want to be available, we have to recognize and share that we're just human. Right? We get up in the morning, we put our pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. So an interesting thing happens when we share our vulnerabilities. The people around us follow our lead and they share theirs. And something magical happens that we can connect with them and we can create these really powerful bonds, these really powerful connections with the people in our life. So I love that because it strengthens our relationship, strengthens our community, like we've been talking about this week. So Coach, thank you for this one. I thought it was really good this morning.
Hey, great lesson. And I'm laughing right now because I read the chats and I read, Andrea, I love your eyeball. And I thought, wow, that's so nice. So, but I didn't read the rest of it. Okay. So it was actually eyeball time with your kids. So
okay.
that was my attempt for humor, everybody. I'm not a comedian, so y'all can laugh with me. It's okay. Great lesson this morning, Andrea. And you have an awesome eyeball, just so you know.
Hopefully both.
Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We're super grateful for you. And we hope you have an amazing Wednesday. We'll see you back on Thursday.
God bless you.
Love you, brother.
Thank you.
Beautiful day.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Andrea. Great job.
Good deal, Susan.
Take care.
Thank you.